Oh, guys, good, you're here. I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why, did you finally listen to it?
Before we start this podcast, let me invite you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or any podcaster. I'm such a cute.
Gobble, 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 gobble.
Let's do the turkey dinner dance. Come on, let's go. Join right in and follow me. You can do it fast or slow. Turkey to the left, cha-cha-cha. Turkey to the right, cha-cha-cha. Turkey up and turkey down. Turkey around. Suing gravy to the left, cha-cha-cha. Suing gravy to the right, cha-cha-cha. Suing gravy up and down. Suing gravy all around. Mashed potatoes to the left, cha-cha-cha. Mashed potatoes to the right, cha-cha-cha. Mashed potatoes up and down. Mashed potatoes all around. Pumpkin pie to the left, cha-cha-cha. Pumpkin pie to the right, cha-cha-cha. Pumpkin pie up and down. Pumpkin pie all around. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Dun 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 dun. Little pig, let me in.
Hello, Pups and Kittens, and welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Groomer Next Door. I guess you'd call it the traveling edition, because it's Thanksgiving week, and a lot of people will be traveling, hopefully listening to us while traveling.
Stay safe, folks.
I'm your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me and returning is Sarah.
Hello.
Hello. Fabulous, Sarah. Sorry, I didn't give you the whole props. This is episode 153. Topic is things to keep in mind when finding a pet sitter. Now, fact of the week. You know, summer is packing its bags. Pretty much a lot of people have already seen it go. I think we're kind of at that point. I think it actually packed its bags yesterday and said goodbye. Because it's really cold today. So, it comes to the fun fact of the week. The term dog days has nothing to do with dogs. It dates back to the Roman times when it was believed that Sirius, the dog star, added its heat to that of the sun from July 3rd to August 11th, creating exceptionally high temperatures. You know what? I still like the dog days of summer. Yeah, that's my opinion. Of course, I like sleeping with cold weather, so I guess, Sirius can keep the hot temperatures to himself. But then how do you explain Australia? Does he add the, warmth?
I'm not even going to try.
You're not even going to try to play on that one?
Nope.
Not even a little?
I'm worried of offending people.
And I'm worried not to offend, because I offend so many people by just saying hello. And you know what? I'm okay with it, I guess. I'll go with it. Let's move into our weekly roundup.
Woo-hoo.
The weekly roundup, yeehaw.
Well, we have a lot to go over, as we always do, apparently, when it comes to rescuing, because that seems to be... I actually want to think that rescuing, adopting, helping animals in the community has become our thing. Almost on a weekly basis. We can't just say that there's only one. There's usually multiple ones, which is kind of cool, I guess. Let's start with Freddie, who is now named Spade. We delivered him over to the new family on Monday night. Great family. They have kids. And I think that this is going... Well, I don't think. I know right off the bat. Look at what he did. Jumped right in the kid's arms like, "Hi, I'm home."
Right, he wasted no time getting from my arms to that little girl's arms. And what was funny is that that's exactly what he did at the crafts fair that we went to. And he was displayed out there. He also leapt into her arms and melted her heart. And I guess she did it a second time because they came back to say hi to the cat again. Because they really wanted this cat.
And they got him.
They got him. So he was like, toodaloo, thanks for taking care of me, but I'm out.
Yep, peace out. Yeah, that was kind of cool.
I don't look back.
It was funny, as we were walking out the door, the mom comes running out, and she goes, he used the litter box, we're fine!
Because they haven't had a cat in a very long time. Like, the kids have never had a cat.
Right.
She had a cat going through college, but nothing since then, and it's been about 9 years since she had a cat. So litter box things are very important and very scary when it comes to cats. Since cats you can't just let outside and come back in. Takes years of training for that, but they do it. But it's more likely they're going to use a litter box. And when she came out, you used a litter box. I'm like, I know.
Hands are in the air. She's all excited like she just won a championship. I was awesome. So, I mean, that was cool.
Freddie, or Spade, he was one of the most faithful litter box users that we've had.
Yeah.
So I wasn't worried about him. Same thing with Lucky, now Oliver.
Which is weird because we have a cat that's named Oliver.
Yeah.
That's kind of odd to me. Go on.
So, but it's nice to know that they've all found homes. We only got 2 cats left that need to be adopted. Double and Toil are some of the most sweetest cats I've ever met. They want to be held, they want to be snuggled on, they want to be kissed, and yet they are the hardest ones to place.
And I don't understand. I mean, well, we've done 2 adoption events. Everybody thinks they're the most adorable cats, but they just don't want to pull the trigger and go, we're gonna have these cats in our life. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, we've posted many videos. They love to watch TV. They sit right in front of the TV, and they're
They hang out.
Yeah.
They greet you at the door. They're wonderful cats.
But they're a little odd with new dogs, and I think
it takes them a while to get used to dogs. That's the only problem, and I didn't think it was going to be a big deal bringing them to the grooming shop, them seeing the dogs all the time, but it really ended up being a problem to where it takes them a few days.
Right.
And we have tested that theory.
Yeah.
We have a stray in our possession right now.
Well, I was going to go there. That's a good segue.
Thank you, and then you just butchered it for me.
Take that!
So, we have a stray in our possession right now that they are not liking.
And let me just say, your driving privileges when I'm not around have been revoked. This is just getting ridiculous. I mean, I'm not joking. There is a reason why we have Rescue 1 and Rescue 2 as our cars, because literally, I swear to goodness, these dogs and cats around, they know, hey, those are the 2 that rescue and put them in great homes. Let's drive in front of the car so we can actually get part of this bounty of good luck. So please tell us, what were you doing to start with, and what happened to this news story of a rescue?
Well, excuse me. I believe full-heartedly in helping those that need it, and I have this one person who rescued the Min Pin trooper, and we ended up doing a little bit of a transport from her house to another leg of the journey so Trooper can get to his rescue, and then got his forever home. Now, she was telling me how her dogs are sick. Her dogs came down with parvo, and parvo is a horrible thing. Parvo can kill your dog within days, and there's a lot of times nothing can be done about it. Most pets die from parvo. Don't exactly die from parvo, they die from the dehydration and from the diarrhea, the throwing up, and stuff like that. It's a horrible situation, and it is just dramatic.
It's kind of like a mimic dysentery, but for humans.
It's just horrendous. So she called me. She's in panic mode. She has no vehicle to get into town. She lives 25 miles outside of Rolla, and she doesn't know what to do. So I said, okay, well, I'll drive out to you. I'll get you. Let's go into town and get everything you need. Now, the problem with parvo, it's transferred through the feces of a dog. So if you have a little bit on your foot, that means you have parvo on you, and you can spread it. I was a little concerned about picking her up. I said, could you just make sure to wash your hands, keep whatever shoes that you want to wear into town outside, away from the dogs, so we minimize any kind of exposure I'll have.
But luckily,
she had to stay home with the dogs, and all I did was pick up the money and go. I picked up her money, went back into town, went to the vet. I went to Walmart, spent like 20 minutes in Walmart grabbing all the stuff she needed, and then went back out. When I went back out to deliver her the stuff, these two dogs were running in the street. It's a busy highway. It's 65 down through there.
Two different dogs, just two random stray dogs.
So I get out and I'm screaming at them and yelling and making loud noises, and they're scared of me and they take off running. Well, I chase them and they end up going back into their yard.
Which happens quite a lot.
And the owner opened the door and the dogs went in.
Right.
Which is absolutely aggravating, because if I didn't do that, the screaming truck behind me would have taken them out. But completely taken those poor things out. So I went on my way. And I was like, okay, everything happens for a reason. I had to come out here for a reason. I saved those two dogs' lives this time.
Yeah.
On the way back, I see this thing just walk in the middle of the street. I'm like, oh, crap, that's a deer. And I started slowing down real quick, and I'm like, wait a second, that's too small for a deer. And right before I actually get to the point where you're, screeching on the pavement, I finally stopped, got over to the side of the road, and the dog comes over to my driver's side door and just looks at me. I look in the rearview mirror and
I'm coming. You're an Uber.
Oh, I guess so. And I'm coming downhill too. So I look in the mirror and here's these two trucks coming my way. So I'm over as far as I can before going off the ditch. I get out and I coerce the dog to me. She trusted me enough. And then I got the lead around her neck and I pulled her to me real quick because these trucks were barreling by.
Which we always have slip leads in the car because of these exact reasons.
In our pocket, on our belt loop, they're everywhere. Because you honestly do not know when you need a quick leash.
Yeah.
A slip lead, leash, collar, everything's right there. Grab and go. Anywho, I picked her up and shoved her in my car. I went knocking on 3 or 4 doors trying to see if she was owned by any of them, and nope. So I took her back into town.
Now you posted it on different sites, and
I put it on
not
internet.
Pictures, not description, just found dog, contact if you're missing a dog, and
whereabouts.
Right. So nobody has contacted, nobody's picked up on it.
People have contacted me and
nobody
asked,
that's true. Nobody that's right.
Well, the one that they're looking for, they're like, well, is it a blah, blah, blah? No, I'm sorry. And then somebody was asking a bunch of questions trying to narrow down the actual breed. I'm like, look, I'm sorry. You've asked 4 or 5 questions. I already said no. So obviously, this dog is not yours. I will not answer any more of your questions. Because what they'll do is that they can pinpoint the breed by the yes or no answers. I'm not going to give this dog away to some random person that wants a free dog.
Right. You have to have descriptions. I mean, pictures would be helpful, but, I don't know anybody who doesn't have pictures of their dogs or cats.
Like, you need to describe the sex, if they're fixed, color, temperament, age.
So, anyways, we have a new rescue, and
well, right now it's set as a stray.
Yes. Well,
I might be contacting the animal
shelter. We're 3 days in. I want to say 3
or 4.
Yeah, something like that. By the end of the weekend, I think that we would actually we are in legal rights to actually, it would be considered surrender at that point because it'd be 5 days.
Yeah. I'll post on the Rolla Animal Shelter's Facebook to see if they found her. and I'll probably contact them sometime after Thanksgiving about taking her.
Right.
Because they're going to be there very limited hours during the
Yeah.
holiday season. Just enough to let them, or to clean their areas, and that's it.
Right.
And then see about placing her there. People might think it's a horrible idea taking a dog to the pound. Well, this animal shelter doesn't work like the high kill rate shelters.
Right, and we have somebody coming on in a couple weeks who will be talking about high rate kill shelters and the bad things. We trust in, because we work closely, which kind of leads on to the next part of the story, which I love your segues today. They're doing great.
Thank you. So
Give you more time off, and see, look at this.
Our shelter does a wonderful job at placing animals, and they do absolutely everything in their power to keep them healthy, keep them happy, keep them safe, and place them in the homes.
Right.
And they have so many people go through there, and such a high adoption rate that she probably won't be there very long.
Right.
She's sweet, she's fun, she's cute as all get out. She's got one ear that comes up, one that kind of hangs down.
I mean, I would like to fulfill this rescue and find the adoption process, but it's going to be so hard to do all this right now.
And it takes money.
Yeah.
And right now,
But
there's
Call
no.
has
Yeah,
gone.
we're kind of tight right now.
Yeah.
We're tight with the whole fact that we have helped so many animals throughout the year. I mean, I know for a fact we've all together as a group saved over 100 and some animals.
I know
year
you
to
and
date.
you and I alone are at 40 something.
Yeah.
Just us. So it's and that's ridiculous. I mean, they've covered Pakal, you guys have covered all the spay, neuter, and vetting. That's come out a lot of money for all these cats.
And then PCAL has also paid a lot into the low-income spay and neuter, the Good Samaritan spay and neuter accounts, the helping the animal shelter with expenses. We've done.
Now to kind of close everything up, there was one other story that actually happened. It was, not the outcome I would have liked to have seen happen, but this happened about a week ago. I was over at the animal shelter dropping off some cat litter because they were in strong need of litter.
And we had some wonderful customers buy 2 big bags of cat litter and had us donate to them. Yay!
So I drove it over after I was done, and John showed me this one cat called Bones 2. And he didn't ask me, hey, can you take this to PCAL and see if they could help with, any kind of vetting. But he told me the story that the cat was emaciated. It had been on antibiotics, but it needed a CBC, pretty much. It needed its blood count and really extensive testing. And the animal shelter being, of course, government, it didn't have the funding to throw that into it. So, he didn't ask me to bring it to Sarah. He didn't say anything. But, as I think he knew I probably would. I brought it to Sarah, and you brought it to the board. Everybody agreed. Yeah, you know what? Let's help out. So he took Bones 2 on Thursday to the vet. Unfortunately, they couldn't draw blood. That was the biggest problem. And
the cat was so emaciated to the point to where every time they tried to get blood out of the vein, it would blow through the vein.
Right.
The cat was, its mouth was septic.
Yeah.
And his entire body just reeked of infection.
Right.
He was so bad off. And as Piccolo spoke it over, it was the humane thing to do is to put Bones down.
Right. And now, I was actually at the vet on Thursday, and I just so happened to show up because I had to go get something for our dog. I spoke with the vet personally right there with John and everybody. We actually had a little powwow over it. And before it was just PCAL, or it was actually a unanimous decision. The vet said it would be inhumane to keep this cat alive. Your only option is to do this. So, that kind of, went to you guys at PCAL.
We were just talking it over, and as much as we want to save this cat, there is just no saving him. and John wanted, which is John from the shelter.
Right.
He didn't want to be the only one making this call.
Right.
He wanted backing, and his compassion, his heart for these animals are so big. He doesn't want to, and he wants to make sure that the community knows this isn't just him picking and choosing who lives.
Right.
This way you had another group of people who are very well respected in Phillips County making the same call.
Right. And, you know, what was probably easier on the decision was, you know, we had the vet's determination. By keeping Bones 2 alive would have been actually inhumane, because you would have had pain, suffering that would have gone through. And, you know, the hardest part, I think, for, like, both of us, we went to work on Friday, and we were very sad about this, because we knew that, you know, we made the call, probably the right call, but, you know, what was hard for, like, and I can speak for just you and I, and this was the first one that we lost out of the battle. This was our first loss of the year,
and
that was hard.
They had him for about 5 weeks. And in that 5 weeks, he lost weight.
Right.
And they were feeding him 2-3 times a day. They were feeding him high-calorie diet. And it still wasn't working.
Yeah. And I mean, with that high-calorie canned stuff, that thing is powerful.
Yes, it is. The Science Diet AD.
Yeah.
It's expensive canned food. But we've dabbled in stuff like that, too, because there's been several cats that came into our possession that was extremely emaciated.
There was just no reverse.
There's no way. Even
the medication wasn't even working.
When he first came in, they had him on antibiotics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, any kind of infection, antibiotics.
Right.
Well, okay, that didn't do anything. Okay, let's do stronger antibiotic shots. That still didn't do it.
There was just no way around it. I mean, the outcome was that he probably had kidney failure and possible cancer. There was just no way.
Yeah,
there's no. You could throw a ton of money into this, and the outcome was just inevitable.
And he was 14 years old.
Yeah. So it was unfortunate.
It was. John loved him so much, because he would come up for a hug during the day and high five and want to be held and stuff. And you know what really made me mad are those jerks that said those mean things about Bones.
Yeah,
you should just kill him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not how especially this shelter. That's not how this shelter handles things.
Yeah, unfortunately, the way people were handling it and their comments, it was very vindictive.
Nobody's going to adopt that.
Yeah.
You know what? You don't know. There was a lady on the post on Facebook said, I would have adopted it.
Yeah.
And I would have been able to keep him and let him live out his other year life if he wasn't so sick.
I don't know if he had that long.
No, if he wasn't so sick.
Oh, okay.
She would have done it.
Yeah, it was a hard decision.
The shelter couldn't put him up on the adoption list yet because of him being so sick.
Yeah.
And we have stories about that later for him on our G&D News.
Oh, yes.
But I commend Roy and John over at the shelter for all they do.
And you know what?
I'm in tears thinking about
Nice.
Oops, beep. The stuff that they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
I have to switch this to explicit because you had to drop the S word, huh?
You can bleep
it doesn't sound good. Doesn't
matter.
Just hit the
or bring it down and bring it up.
I'll just throw explicit in there. Save it. But I gotta give John a lot of credit for this. He sold me on this, and by throwing it at me, he knew that I had the ability to at least spin this into helping this cat.
Well, and he
by
knows,
throwing it to Pickle and stuff like that.
Well, Pickle,
that was smart by him. I'm not gonna. Hey, I'm commending him. That was a real smart move.
Well, Pickle is very open to help the shelter. We love our shelter. We want to do as much as we can for our shelter.
But
we did have a change in leadership, and that change in leadership hasn't gone over as smoothly as it really should have.
Well, you're cleaning up. I'm
doing a lot of cleanup right now.
Right.
So I don't think he honestly knew who to go to.
Oh no, he was smart. He knew exactly where to go with it. I know he doesn't listen, but if he ever does, if he's listening to this one, it was a good call. You went to the right person. You knew what I would do, and I totally go with it. All right, well, let's move on to GND News.
I don't watch the news because I'm a kid.
Welcome to the GND News Desk, which we don't get to sit at that often because we have guests on the podcast. So this is kind of cool to be at this desk for once. No, it's a little dusty. A little dusty.
You're a weirdo.
We don't have. Do we not have housekeepers to keep the studio clean? Come on, folks.
Hey, my mom works hard. Leave her alone.
Yeah, the 2 days a week. All right. So this week on GND News, we're actually going to go with a really heavy story that we've talked about this so many times when you're looking at breeders, and of course we can't do our job without doing a segment on Thanksgiving and the things we need to worry about, especially, and this is really for all of our guests that will be coming over to our houses, unless you're in Canada and stuff like that, or in other countries who don't celebrate Thanksgiving. This is going to be an American Thanksgiving type segment, but enjoy it anyway. So let's start off with going to Austin, Texas, and a situation that a very bad breeder, which I'd call him a backyard breeder more than anything else, is conducting. So Claire, play that clip.
New at 10 o'clock tonight, a family's new pet dies just a short time after they brought it home. Well, tonight, a local dog breeder is accused of selling sick puppies, and this isn't the first time. Channel 2's Keith Garvin is live at the Houston Humane Society with the story you'll see only on 2 tonight. Keith?
Dominique, the Humane Society says it's received calls from multiple people about this alleged bad breeder, and we've learned that he has a history that goes back nearly 10 years and all the way down to South Texas.
For somebody like that, I don't know how you sleep at night doing that, knowing that you're taking people's money.
Keisha Thomas learned a lesson the hard way. She bought this adorable Maltipoo to be the family pet for her 3 young children. Less than 24 hours after bringing the puppy home and spending $1,000 on purchase and vet bills, the dog was dead from parvo.
My daughter went into the bathroom to check on it. She was petting it, and she was like, "Mommy, why is the puppy not moving?" And that's when we found out it passed away.
Thomas bought the dog from a breeder named Jesse Vasquez. The same Jesse Vasquez sued by then Attorney General Greg Abbott for selling sick, dying puppies from his store in McAllen in 2006. The Houston Humane Society says multiple people have reported buying sick puppies from Vasquez recently in the Houston area. Their concern is that more buyers will become victims as we get closer to the Christmas season, a popular time for new pets.
Department stores are running more ads trying to get buyers to come to them. And it's the same thing with these puppy breeders. But unfortunately, it's not the same as just going and buying an electronic device.
Just beware. Please stay away from this guy if you don't want to experience any heartache and lots of money spent at the vet.
And Jesse Vasquez also goes by the name of Jesse Balderas. The Thomas family was able to buy a new puppy from a different breeder, but they are considering legal action against Jesse Vasquez. Reporting live from South Harris County, Keith Garvin, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
This is exactly why we always talk about breeders and what to look for. I mean, we've talked about it with dogs. We've talked about breeding, breeders that deal with cats. We've even talked about breeders with hedgehogs. It's, I wish there was this thing out there that you could go on with maybe a phone or on a computer or a tablet that would have like this, information superhighway kind of thing, and start Googling all of these people to make sure, oh wait, it's the internet. Internet, that's what it is. Yes, it tells you all about these people. And this guy has a bad track record. Now, I'm not gonna, beat this down, but come on. This guy, for one, he should be doing jail time. The Attorney General actually had a suit against him. This guy should be actually doing time in jail for criminal act. For one, he's, false advertisement. He is committing acts against animals for animal abuse. There is so many things that's wrong with this. Personally, it's like, oh my gosh. I want to just,
And the part that upset me actually upset me on 2 different levels. The people who bought the dog too.
That was part of my problem.
She didn't seem to really care about the dog itself.
Yeah, the life didn't matter.
No, it was the money.
Right.
When she says, I don't know how you can live with yourself taking money from people. No, I'm sorry. I don't know how he can live with himself knowing that he's breeding sick dogs.
Right.
And allowing dogs to die a miserable death.
Yeah.
It's not the money, folks. It's the quality of life that these animals are living. And people need to start realizing that animals have feelings. They can get hurt. It hurts. And I'm not talking about, oh, you're just emotionally...
No, they feel pain.
No, they feel pain.
Yes.
They feel what it's like to be sick. They know and they understand that something's wrong.
Right.
So therefore, it's a life that needs to be saved.
Right.
And this guy needs to be stripped of any rights to owning any animal.
Owning, selling, everything. I mean, he apparently had a shop, a store. Now, I'm sorry, that's a backyard breeder who is taking these dogs and sell them in a store. And there's so many things wrong with this, from top to bottom. Now, you know, I always feel sorry for somebody who gets, you know, effed over in a sense. But again, this guy has a huge track record of bad things. That was the first thing. I'm actually holding, you know, the district attorney, or former district attorney, you know, responsible. I'm holding a lot of people responsible for this guy being allowed to go about. And you know what really got under my skin? Was the fact that the family is still considering if they want to actually file charges. What? Damn right you want to file charges. I want to file charges. Actually, I want to file charges against him and wonder why hasn't this happened sooner? It's stories like this that just drive me bat crap crazy because I don't understand it. I mean, for one, he's a real D-bag for what he's doing, and I would love to be closer so I could go and talk some sense into him, but there's just no excuse, and it ticks me off. And I'm more or less, this is a bullyish type person who is hurting animals. I mean, it's like hurting children. He just needs his butt kicked is what he needs. A good butt kicking.
Yes.
Alright, let's move on to our Thanksgiving information for 2016. So, Claire, play that clip.
Lucky enough to be joined by the most adorable Cavalier King Charles Spaniels sitting next to me, Theo and Bugsby. I'm so excited. With Thanksgiving is away, we know that you are probably frantically planning the meal for the people in your life, but don't forget the dogs. It can be tempting to share the overflowing bounty with your canine friends, but every year countless dogs head to the vet after Thanksgiving suffering from digestive problems and canine pancreatitis because they've eaten things they really shouldn't have. Here with tips on keeping your hungry hound happy and healthy this Thanksgiving is Dr. Jan Bellows. Dr. Bellows, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
I love it. Dogs everywhere. First off, can you tell us, is turkey toxic for dogs?
No, absolutely not. Turkey isn't toxic, but what happens is people all of a sudden think that it's Thanksgiving, they're eating turkey, so why not give it to their dogs? And why not give a lot to their dogs because they really love it? So they give too much, and that's where the problem is.
So what are the three major doggy health hazards we need to look out for?
Okay, the biggest one is giving the dog something that it hasn't had before. So if they are on a regular dog food and all of a sudden you're giving turkey and turkey skin, that's bad. Second is giving things that you shouldn't give, such as onions, grapes, raisins, things that just aren't healthy for dogs to have because they can be poisonous. Chocolate's another one for dessert. Don't do it. Last is giving them something that is too hard to chew on, such as bones. Bones are bad for dogs, any type of bones. If it doesn't bend, don't give it.
So I'm just in love with Theo and Bugsby over here. If they look up at me with those big puppy dog eyes and I'm sitting at the table, I just have to give them something, Doctor. Sure. What can I give them?
Okay. There are lots of dog treats that you can give that are also good for their teeth. And there's actually a site that you can go on, the Veterinary Oral Health Council. It's a nonprofit site owned by the College of Veterinary Dentistry. It's VOHC, Veterinary oralhealthcouncil.org, and it has a whole list of safe and effective things that you can give them. One of the best new products out is milk bone brushing chews, where you can get it at any place you can get milk bones, and you just give a dog a milk bone brushing chew, and they're happy. They sit down and they spend a long time chewing it, and it's also good for their teeth.
So much fun. What do you give your dogs on Thanksgiving?
We actually give them milk bone brushing chews and some turkey. We have 4 dogs. And in fact, we had a King Charles Cavalier. What a sweet dog. But you know what happened is we didn't brush your teeth every day. And unfortunately, I had to take out about half a dozen of my own dog's teeth. And I felt so guilty about that. And it was all related. If I had given him something every day for plaque control, then the dog still would have had its teeth.
Okay, sounds great. And before we let you go, can you give us a sense of how many bites of turkey are okay?
It's kind of per dog. So if you take what you usually feed them, make it into quarters, and just give a quarter of that amount, and no skin and no bones.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much. Have a very happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you.
Apparently, that segment was brought to you by Milkbone Dog Chews.
Oh gosh, that was horrible.
That drove you nuts.
The entire thing was selling as treats.
It reminded me of
It had
Idiocracy.
nothing to do with keeping dogs safe. Just a couple. Let's throw in a few facts.
The facts, but he did have facts. The facts I'll give the facts
you need to make sure the dogs don't get grapes, they don't get the raisins, they don't get a high amount of turkey.
Skin.
You know, but at the same time, there are wonderful dog foods out there made from turkey.
Yes.
Pure Vita, however you want to say it, Pure Vita.
There's people who
call it Pure Vita.
Yeah, because they're the fancy ones that have to say, you know, Bichon Frise.
Right.
With an accent.
Bichon.
Bichon.
Frise. Okay. But there is plenty of food out there that's made with turkey. Now, we're not giving our dogs any turkey because there's not enough to give to them. No,
you can't. I'm just not going to give it. You think I'm going to give my bacon-flavored, blanketed turkey? No, I will not. I won't even give my kid any. I'm kidding.
You fight for the entire top of that turkey.
I do. Yes, that bacon on there, taking the layers off. Oh, gosh. I'm only like 72. No, a little more than 72 hours away from that. I'm already hungry for it. No, it's a couple more because it's only Saturday.
I was like, wait a second. We got a ways.
Yeah, we got a ways. Oh, well, whatever.
Another thing I don't agree with them is the bone part. No, you're not supposed to give your dogs any cooked poultry bone whatsoever. Do not give them turkey bones. Do not give them chicken bones. Don't give them...
But he says no bones.
But he's saying no bones.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's not true.
No, I caught that too.
There are plenty of bones out there that will clean the dog's teeth just nice, as long as it doesn't have any garbage all over it. And Roxy's teeth are perfect, and we give her bones all the time. No sugar.
They're not like dinosaur bones or like something that Dino from the Flintstones would eat. No, they're actually great.
And then once they get to a certain size, we take them away from her so she doesn't choke. Common sense. It's like now people have to take a shoe off, put it in the back seat, so they remember to take their baby out of the car.
What?
You don't know this?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, people are starting to leave kids in the cars so often that now new parents are instructed to take a shoe off or leave your phone in the back seat, so you have to grab your phone because, you know, your phone's going to be more important than your baby.
These candy asses nowadays, they're really getting on my nerves.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
But
I gotta take my shoe off so I remember my child that is more important than me right now, or ever will be more important.
I'm sorry. I look at my vehicle when I leave anywhere, and that was even before.
Do you know how long it was that once Claire was of age to get out of the car with us, I'd still look to make sure she was back there. There are times I still did exactly. Oh my god,
even
candy
before.
asses.
Yeah. Anyway, but it's proper. You know, watching your dog properly. Take the bones away when it's time to take the bone away. When it gets too small, or if it starts splintering, That's one of the reasons why you stay away from any kind of poultry bones, because they splinter, and it is horrible what can happen to them.
That comment brought to you by Milkbone.
Yeah, brought to you by
It reminds me of Idiocracy, you know, brought to you by Carl Jr.
Yeah, right.
Oh, gosh.
I get $100 every time I say
Every time I say, why do you keep saying Carl Jr.? I get $100 every time. Oh, gosh. How else are you supposed to make money?
Make sure they don't get to your green bean casserole.
I hope you guys have all seen Idiocracy, because it would be worth it.
Make sure you don't want to lose any of your food anyways, too. So if you have pets in your house, make sure your turkey's safe.
And you know what?
Because not only will you be missing turkey for that Thanksgiving, you'll burn the heck out of your dog.
You know what I'm thinking about? I'm not thinking about the actual, pet parents here. That's not the ones that I was thinking about. I'm thinking about your guests, or even the kids that come over.
And they bring their dog with.
Or no, just the kid the kid doesn't have a dog at home, and it's like, oh, cute doggy. Here's some of my turkey. Here's some of my, because kids will do that.
That's right. They'll love up on your animal too much.
And so it's more or less, hey, you know what? Think about the actual guests coming over to your house. Because they're the ones that are likely to do this. Not you, but them. Mm-hmm. All right, well, that concludes GND News for this week.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. What do you do? What do you do?
Hello, contestant, and welcome to Pop Quiz. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I gotta say, this studio is actually really clean, unlike that GND News studio. That thing was a filth hole. They need to actually clean the dust off of there. Cobwebs and all. No? Yes? Okay. Well, this week on Pop Quiz, from Ranker.com, I'm getting all these lists of choices, answers, whatever you want to call it, from there. And you are going to try to guess what you think the top 5 answers are going to be for the best dogs for allergies. You ready for this? Or are you just going to draw?
I'm ready.
Okay. Alright, according to Ranker, voted by the people, what do you think? Question number 1. What do you think the top dog is going to be?
You mean answer number 1?
That's the one.
Bichon.
Bichon Frise?
Yes.
Bichon Frise?
Yes.
Okay, that was number 5. So you actually...
number 5?
Yes, you actually hit the board. Good job. Alright, number 2.
Golden Doodle.
Golden Doodle doesn't even hit the chart.
Oh, gosh.
As you were writing them down, I was looking at the same time, and I was like, ooh, bad choice. Go on.
Maltese.
The Maltese. That was the number 1 choice.
Yay.
Good for you. Good for you. Next choice.
Poodle.
The Poodle ranked number 7. So you're still off the board, but you did pretty good. You're still in top 10. That's not bad. Alright.
Oh, yeah. Chinese Crescent.
The Chinese Crescent does not hit the mark. Now, it was, if I'm not mistaken, let me look, but I think it was like 20-something on the list. It wasn't on the map, but it was like 23 on the map. So you didn't get that one on there. So you had, as I go down the list, number 1, the Maltese dog. I love that. Maltese dog. Number 2, the Shih Tzu.
Are you kidding me? They have terrible dander.
Well,
and danders cause whatever.
I don't make these. This is voted by the people.
I'm smarter than Ranker.
Number 3, the Yorkshire Terrier. Number 4, the Jack Russell Terrier. Number 5, the Bichon Frise. Number 6 was the Cockapoo. Number 7, as you got, was the Poodle.
Cockapoo's got terrible skin allergies too. Oh my gosh.
You know what I like doing this? I like playing this game because it drives you nuts. So it makes me happy. Number 8 was the Labradoodle. Number 9, the Miniature Schnauzer.
Labradoodle with a Golden Doodle didn't make it.
Right.
Labradoodle shed more than Golden Doodle.
Number 10 was the Samoyed.
As if.
See, this is why I play this, because it drives you nuts.
As freaking if.
They'll make these rules. You can look it up. And that was the top 10. And then to keep going along really quickly, 11, the Havanese, Portuguese Water Dog, Soft-Coated Wheaten Terrier,
Bull,
Porter Terrier, West Highland White Terrier, Spanish Water Dog, Australian Silky Terrier, Airedale Terrier, number 19.
That was bull.
Number 19, Border Collie, Chinese Crested, English Mastiff, Italian Greyhound, Lhasa Apso. Then I know those were all tied for 19. Number 20, Schnauzer, 21, Great Dane, 22, Irish Water Spaniel, then 23, Wire Hair Fox Terrier, Wire Hair Doxy was 24. So that was it. So thank you very much for playing Pup Quiz.
And now our feature presentation.
And we crossed over to the main topic. And just a reminder, the main topic was things to keep in mind when finding a pet sitter. Now this became something that we were talking about after we started pet sitting. We're like, the process that the lady went through who we worked for, she was really smart about really doing her due diligence. And I had to give her so much credit for, being sure that she found the right people. And yes, I'm saying that we were the right people. I had to. What can I say? So, I'm going to go down, some things that you really should think about when you're actually, if you're not going to, put your dog in a boarding facility, which a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people are afraid that their dogs will be uncomfortable. The comforts of the home is where they feel the most comfortable to know that their dogs, or even cats or a rabbit, are happy. Because there was a rabbit in that house, and you and the rabbit got along very well.
Shut your mouth.
You love that rabbit.
Oh, be quiet.
That rabbit and you, every morning I used to just love to hear you two play. It was fun.
Be nice.
Be nice. Okay, so first, the number one thing that you should really think about is talk to people that might have some suggestions, including your veterinarian. Now, a lot of veterinarians actually have their own boarding facility. I know that microphone just kind of moved on its own. So, hi.
Hi. I'm listening to you.
Okay, you're listening. Good. So, veterinarian would be your first choice. Ask them, do they have any recommendation? Now, I'm pretty sure if they have their own boarding facility, they're probably going to say that they're the best. But just in case, they might have some suggestions. Another one is, of course, word of mouth. That's how we were, brought into ours. Is, you find out, anybody in your local area who, are really good with pets. And this is probably going to be very helpful to a lot of you who are going out of town this week. Didn't think about this. It's
perfect time.
It is a perfect time for it.
Perfect. Just like me.
Now, when you're actually going to round it down, kind of narrow down your search, compile a questionnaire. One thing that I noticed that we went through, and like I said, I'm really using a lot of what we went through as kind of a jump off kind of spot, and that was, she really was talking to both of us through Facebook a lot. In the private messenger, asking a lot of questions. You were given a lot of information as well. This will help your search because you're going to find out different things about this person. You're going to be able to kind of work
see if they're responsible.
Right. And public image it does help. If they're pillars of the community, that does make a difference. No, that's not mine.
I was like, excuse me.
No, not mine.
Getting all kinds offended over here.
Another thing that you want to consider is find references. Now, of course, word of mouth is kind of a reference in a sense, but find out if there's more people that will, support the story that these people or person is right to take care of your pet, because they aren't going to be walking into your house.
You got my back, right?
I don't know about you. I don't know, you're a little shady over there drawing right there what looks to be Suicide Squad-esque writing. Looks
Says
like
I love you. I was going to make this for you.
But it does look like Suicide Squad, doesn't it?
You're trying to deny my love. See this, folks? He's trying to deny me here.
And I'm trying to do a podcast. All right, so references in that.
And what's great about having the internet nowadays is that you can quick Google anything.
Yeah.
You can look at their Facebook page, and some people will have like a seriously blocked Facebook page, asks to be added.
Right.
So you can see, because people need to be responsible. Word of mouth, like you said, is very important.
Right. Ding, 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 ding.
References that aren't their parents.
Yeah, I mean...
Unless they're teenagers, and then that's one thing. But they need to make sure that they are...
Remember, these people, if you want them to pet sit, they're going to be coming into your house.
Yeah.
So everything that you hold dear to you is going to be accessible to them.
Yes.
So that is so important. You're giving your key to the most important part of your life.
They might even stay there, because there's two different types of people. They want people who want to house sit and pet sit at the same time.
Cover that. So very good.
And then you also have people that just show up twice, 3 times a day, like we did.
Right.
You want to make sure they're trustworthy, obviously, and make sure that they have a valid driver's license. Make sure they have insurance that's current and up to date. A lot of car insurance now cover pet insurance as well.
Now this is if you want your dog to go out with them.
Well, it's not just that. I think they need it anyways, for the simple fact that if one of the dogs gets sick,
true,
and they have to get to the vet, that dog has to be in that car.
True.
So therefore, you want to make sure that everything is legal. So if something were to happen, that you're protected. And by doing that, it just covers a little bit better, you know?
I hope people aren't going, oh crap, I think we picked the wrong person. Another option is you can actually select a certified pet sitter. There are agencies out there, maybe in your town, maybe in your area, that actually will accommodate this. Smaller towns, not so much. You're gonna have to be more reliant on word of mouth. But for the big cities out there, you're going to find plenty of professional pet sitters, just like babysitters. They're going to be all over the place. They're going to be covered by license and bonded, so that is possibly something you might be interested in.
Exactly. Then you have people that have gone through background checks already versus taking the chance on someone else. When dealing with the whole pet sitting, you got to make sure the person's comfortable giving medication if your dog is on medication.
I forgot about that.
Yes, we had one dog that was on medication, prescription.
Right.
One dog that was on allergy medicine.
Right.
And all of them was fish oil.
Right.
So we had, and there was one that had two had one type of feeding, one had another amount of feeding, and the other two had a full amount of feeding. So we had to keep them all straight.
But the only thing I did that was a little bit different is I couldn't feed that one and not the other one. So I gave them a small amount.
Yeah,
nothing major,
something.
but just something to actually, fill their bellies until, their actual feeding.
Right.
That's just me though. I mean, I couldn't.
And she didn't tell us not to.
Right.
So we stayed within her realm of.
Yeah, we never changed anything.
Ask for video or photos.
Right.
We offered up both.
Right.
Another thing too is that you need to know if you're not going to allow somebody to stay at your house while you're gone, then you need to assume that your dogs are going to destroy your house.
They are going to probably destroy it, yes.
When they're bored, what happens is that they want to start chewing, they want to start digging,
Yep.
They might have an accident or two in the house, but be prepared for that.
Now,
and keep doors shut that you don't want open.
Now with ours, we had discussed all this beforehand. She said just leave everything the way it was.
Because they are avid chewers.
Right.
And they constantly do it. And she's gotten to the point where she loves her animals so much that she just buys cheap furniture and replaces it when she needs to.
I couldn't do that. We picked up and everything was put together. So when she walked in the door, everything was in place. Now, you may not have the same thing. Your pet sitter might actually say, well, you know what, I'm going to follow it to the T. I'm not going to clean up because that's her orders or his request. Somebody who's going to go a little bit out of their way for you, but that's going to go on reputation over everything else. Another thing is you can find a pet sitter that's affiliated with a reputable boarding facility. We know that somebody from our boarding facility, she does go out and she will do house and pet sitting because they want their dogs to stay at the house.
It's not just that, too. There's some people that just will not use a boarding facility. The lady that we helped out, she refuses to use a boarding facility because she has 4 dogs. That's a lot of money. You have 4 dogs and $23 a day for a set of 2. So you're looking at $48 a day.
Yeah. It can be very expensive.
And that's not including the food that you brought with them.
Right.
That's not including letting them play because she was gone for over a week.
Yeah, because you're going to expect, play times can cost more.
Yeah, she was looking to spend several $100s.
Several more $100s.
Yeah.
Now, this was something that I thought was really smart. I think that she did a lot of her homework through this as well. And that was let your pet, have your pets get a tryout. We went over to the house. We met all the dogs. And, one was very skittish. We were familiar with the situation because we had emergency housed one of the dogs in that. 2? Really?
Melody and Lily.
Well, I was talking about just the one at her house. But yes, you're right. We did foster.
We emergency housed.
You're right.
Of the same situation that this other dog came from.
Right.
So we understood that she came from a hard time.
and
even though that was a couple years ago, still horrible.
Well, that's where I, had this discussion. A couple people have said, dogs never hold on to things. No, they do. Some will never. It's a PTSD that they will never shed.
Yep.
And we've had so much experience with that, we can relate. Now, during our tryout with them, when we went over to the house, we were acclimated to them very quickly, except for that one. That one particular one wouldn't stop barking and was very skittish. Now, it was, I would say, 2 days into it, maybe at most, and she stopped the barking right away. She never was 100%, right there by your lap like the rest of them. But she was, she accepted and she would come over for her treats and there was really never any problem. But make sure, if you have a dog like that and there's a situation in that kind of instance, you have to be prepared that the person that you're going to have come in and house sit or just pet sit will be able to handle that. Because that can be a challenge, especially going out, when they go out to potty, they use their own yard. How do you get that dog back in the house? That was going to be a question that somebody who doesn't have experience may not have had an idea. How do you get it back in the house?
Yeah, you definitely want someone that's clever.
Yeah.
That will bend to what the dogs need.
Right. Not force it.
The skittish one, she usually eats inside her kennel.
She never
with
did
the door
with us,
shut.
though.
She did it once.
Really? Yeah.
And she wouldn't do that with us, so we had to figure out, okay, well, how do I get it to where the other dogs aren't going to scarf down her food?
Right.
Oh, she's outside. The other dogs are eating. Here, I'm just going to put her food outside and shut the door.
Yeah.
The screen door. Let her have her private time with her food, because when a dog eats, it's a very vulnerable time for them. Because they're not paying attention to what's going on around. They're paying attention on nourishing themselves. Same thing when they go to the bathroom. They're going to the bathroom. It's a very vulnerable spot for them.
Right.
So they keep looking at you to make sure that you are looking to keep them safe.
Right.
You're going to have to be able to think outside the box there.
You do. You have to be able to work with them without forcing them or ruining any kind of relationship that you've built with them, a bond. So it is very creative, and again, force is not the way of doing it. It never gets anywhere with a dog. So that's that one. Now,
and it doesn't hurt to leave out a bunch of treats that they can have without having a tummy problem.
Right.
Because we demolished an entire bag of treats.
Yes. But they never had the hot poops.
They never had the hot poops, and she was okay with it.
Well, she said, if you need more, just let me know. I'll PayPal it. Yeah. The next one is ask about emergency plans. If this dog gets sick, what vet to go to? If, my house, if there's anything goes wrong with my house, who do I contact? Is there, because you're going to be who knows where. You may be in another country vacationing. You may be across the country for Thanksgiving. You may be anywhere. And look, this is not just Thanksgiving we're talking about. We got in a couple more weeks from here, we've got Christmas. We've got New Year's. So we've got so much going on. And there's so many holidays that are coming up that a lot of you are probably thinking, oh crud, I'm in that position. I really need to think about this. And, you know, I'm not saying a boarding facility is not right. I'm not saying that at all. But there are people out there, and I totally get this, being that we're so much in love with our animals, that we don't want them to be in that. We want them to be comfortable in their environment. TV
I'd rather have my dog lounging on my couch, destroying it, than in a kennel where there's concrete walls everywhere.
Right.
But that's just me. And then some people just can't. They can't do anything but put them in a boarding facility.
Right.
That's fine.
But there's gotta be
I would rather.
Go ahead.
Obviously, I would rather keep my dogs at home.
And if you are going to go to a boarding facility, there's so many things that I would actually recommend. Make sure that your dog is up to date on all of its shots, because that's going to be there. But make sure that kennel cough, it has, I'm trying to think of the actual shot.
N1C.
Something like that. Make sure it has its shot for that.
N1C3 or something like that, C2.
The kennel cough, make sure it has been vaccinated, because it's, what that one is it's a flu shot for humans, in a sense. That's the best way of articulating this to you. So that when they go, they're not going to come back with kennel cough, because it only takes one dog.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to really determine. So,
and it's so easily caught.
It's so easy. So, and then again, what I always, the whole thing with check through the internet, because it does tell the truth in a lot of things. Check if that is the right place. You may have options. You may have a veterinarian that actually has a kennel. You may have a private facility as a kennel.
Now know that veterinarians, it's most of the time a lot smaller than what a boarding facility would be.
Right.
They don't interact with them as much as what a boarding facility can.
And then there could be a vet boarding facility that has all of that. It's really one of those things, again, goes back to word of mouth. Talk to people, find out what they do, because that's your best bet. And really, we've said this one before when it comes to boarding facilities. Take a tour of the place before you actually commit.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure that you have the comfort that your dog or even your cats are going to be well cared for at this place. You can get an idea by the staff, by just talking to the staff.
Yeah, they go,
and they're picking their nose.
Yeah.
And they're
they get to go outside.
I think.
They go to the bathroom for a few minutes.
I think. and then as you're walking through, if you start to see poop in the kennels, most of the kennels are filled with poop, you know that they're not doing their job. So these are all things to consider when going to a boarding facility as well, because there is these two options. And the last thing, and it all really comes down to everything kind of rolled into one, and that is the level of service. You have a plan of what your expectations are, but it's never a bad idea to hope that they go a little bit beyond, like we were mentioning. The couch pillows were ripped up. There was stuffing all over the house.
Oh, it was horrible.
It looked like snow.
I feel so bad. My mouth dropped. I was like, oh.
It was bad. But instead of doing what we were said, just leave it. I'll get to it when I get home. It's like, no, we picked everything up, put them back into the pillow things. Obviously, I don't know how to sew, so I can't sew it up. She can. I'm pretty sure she knows how. But we took it, put it away so the dogs wouldn't be able to rip it up anymore and put it anywhere. And there was a couple times that, they went to the bathroom, which is common. What goes in must come out. So we picked it up. Now, that was definitely not on the list of things. She said, leave it. No, I'm sorry, but my own ethics, I can't just leave it. You're paying me to do a service. I'm going to go and I'm going to do it. Even though that's not part of my job, it's a simple, I can pick up poop. I pick up poop all day. That's what I do for a job. So, again, I would hire somebody to do this who works with animals. I would really, if you could, I would recommend somebody who's in college to be a vet or a vet tech. somebody who's actually studying to actually do this. Now, of course, with the holidays, some kids do go home for the holidays, so you may not find that. But there are a lot of options out there. And I understand that this is coming out right at the worst time for most people because they're like, I'm already going away. Why couldn't you do this sooner? But, you know, you still got many, many, many more holidays coming up and a lot of travel. I mean, I do have to say, in my opinion, Thanksgiving is the most busiest travel time.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, King of the Hill.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
I had to. But, you know, these are things to consider for you guys. Anything you want to add?
No, I think we covered that very thoroughly.
Cool, I'm glad I did. Well, by that sound, Claire has turned on the applause sign, so that means I gotta go. I'm Chris Green. Have a happy Thanksgiving and a pet-tastic week.
I'm Sarah Green. Make sure everybody realizes life is short. Play with your pet.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.
And now the show is over now.